Is here, and he is with Oyster.com. And Ellie, you know, sometimes we look at pictures of hotels and places that we want to go, we get duped. Yeah. Is that really, really rare, or is that kind of a regular occurrence?
I think, unfortunately, I mean, I think we've all had this experience where what we expect to get based on what we saw in the brochure, we saw on the website, is not exactly what it's like when we arrive. And I think it ranges from the extreme, right? It's an outright kind of deceit, to the minor, it was kind of exaggerated. And I think if you look at Oyster's photo fakeouts, which really show the contrast between what we saw when we were there and what the hotel is showing in their marketing, you see some good exampple of that.
All right, I'm ticked off, all right, because I look at this and I'm ready to lay down money, or I did lay down money, and I get there and it's not what I thought, that it was. What can I do?
Yeah, I think that's the real problem, right? Is you already did lay down money.
Yeah.
It's not like buying something from Amazon, right? You can't just put it back in the mail and send it back. So that's the real issue. Unfortunately, when you arrive, it's a little bit too late. I mean, it's not a product that you can easily return. And that's really why we created Oyster in the first place, is to give you a sense of what you're going to get exactly before you go, right? And that's really the idea.
Is the whole thing, is it criminal at all, or is it caveat emptor, simply let the buyer beware?
I mean, I think it's probably criminal is a strong word, right? So I think I think you have to kind of look at these things when you see the brochure, when you see the typical photos and the description on somebody's site. You typically have to kind of think about it with with a grain of salt, right? And imagine that it's being shown in its very best possible light.
So what does Oyster do to help me out with this?
So we send expert hotel reviewers to hotels, and they photograph the hotel A to Z. So you see on our site the hotel exactly the way we saw it when we were there, and that's what's actually going to be there. And we also describe and review the hotel, tell you, is it great for kids, is it a boutique, is it romantic, what's it going to be like when you actually get there. So that's what Oyster does to solve this problem.
Okay, we got about 30 seconds left. So in other words, if I find out that this happened, is there anything I can do afterwards? I mean, social media is so powerful. Yeah. It seems like if you get bashed and somebody has a bad experience, and it's that hotel, is that usually the outcome in what people end up doing?
I think so. I mean, I think what you see, and if you look at the user review sites, and we're not a user review site, we're an expert review site to try to avoid this in the first place. But what you see, unfortunately, is with user review sites, a lot of people screaming and yelling. And, that's somewhat helpful. But really, I think the idea is to avoid it in the first place.
All right, Ellie Seidman, we appreciate your time. Back to you guys.